Greetings and welcome to Strangers and Aliens, episode 414. Is that right? 414?
Yeah. Is that the opening we're going with?
Sure.
Like,
And the episode title is 2023 Entertainment Recap, or Evan and Ben Catch Up.
or 2023 in review.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. We could use all three of them because this is the recording we're doing.
How's it going, Ben?
It's going well, man. It's going well. I've got there's a lot going on because I have older kids now, and
I'm switching us because you're the head of the channel.
okay. Anyway, there's a lot going on because
Okay.
I've got kids that are older and they're out doing their own thing, and there's been some not so exciting things. My kids are great. My kids are safe. My kids are healthy, not wealthy, healthy, healthy and well. But yeah, we got a kid graduating college this semester.
Okay.
We got a kid graduating high school this semester.
Wow.
I've got two. Yeah. It's just weird stage in life right now. So how about you?
My kids are in a typical stage of life. We are in a stage of life where we are watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and my son loves it and really wants to get the toys, but they don't exist anymore, at least not for under $400. So we're trying to make do.
I think you remember when I was trying to get the superhero. What were they called? They were the clunky superheroes, like the preschool superhero ones, Spidey and Friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And I could not get those for anything other than collector's prices. And then the same with Transformers.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was so frustrating because I just wanted to get a Transformer for my preschooler. And I'm not spending $50 to get Optimus Prime for my preschooler because it's on eBay, and that's the only place I could get it.
Man, Clark is his brain is a steel trap. You tell him your name once, he's got it forever, and that also includes characters. So he just has to watch a show once, and man, he's in it, and he's got it down. So
yeah, and so here's some other things that have been going on, and this is for both of us for 2023. I'm gonna go ahead and do this right now because we're gonna promote this thing.
Hooray!
Our book, A Time for Everything, which I don't know the exact percentages, but I only have 1/28 in here, and you have 1/28 in here.
Indeed.
Because there's 28 stories, A Time for Everything. It is an anthology about Ecclesiastes 3. And as you can see, if you're looking at the cover right now, there's a clock on the cover. Why? Because it has to do with time. I call it time bending. All the stories have some element of time bending that happens. It doesn't necessarily have to be time travel, although that is kind of the starting point for a lot of people. But Evan, your story is A Time to Die. My story is A Time to Hate.
Nice.
Kind of both ended up with the
No, mine's not a time to die. Mine's a time to kill.
That's right, time to kill.
Yes.
Time to kill. Yeah, so we both kind of ended up with those more negative feeling things, but yeah. So that's the hardcover edition that I had there. There's a paperback edition and an ebook edition. Steve also has a story in there. And so basically we have the entire Strangers and Aliens main cast, not the supporting cast. I tried actually to get John Haryu was going to write one, but he ended up not being able to. J.S. Earls, he was not able to.
Dr. Jason?
No, he's not in there. I asked him. He wasn't able to. No. So, yeah. So there's some people who have been on the show before, though. Adam David Collings is in there. Nathan Marchand is also in there.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So he had A Time to Dance, and he had that one because he is a ballroom dancer.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Yeah. And so all of them to start with, that's your title, that's your theme. And I said, run with it and do something with time. Sci-fi, fantasy, I don't care. It could be something like Hermione's time thing that she had in Harry Potter.
Hermione?
Whatever.
Hormone, I think, is a different thing.
Harmonium. I don't know. Or it could be something like a time machine, or it could be something in between, which is actually you and I both kind of went in between as far as just
Yes.
not doing your usual time travel kind of a thing. But yeah,
Yes, there's no time traveling in mine. There's time fighting.
there's, I mean, is there no time traveling in yours?
Nope.
I would argue that time does travel in
There's
yours.
only one way to settle this, Ben, and that's for everyone watching this to buy a copy, read it, and then give us your opinion.
Well, and actually in my story, they actually argue, is time traveling happening right now? Like, is this time traveling? And they actually argue about, is it technically time traveling or not? So
Mine, I went with a different direction because usually I'm pretty dialogue heavy and conversational dialogue, but there's like zero dialogue. There's like one or two lines.
yeah.
Everything's narrator focused.
So, and you have an interesting voice too with the narrator there. It's a more of a third person, but it's actually, well, it's just an interesting voice you have there because of the way that you chose to address the reader through the narrator.
Yeah, well, good, because I almost never use a narrator, so that was an experiment for me. So
yeah. So anyway, that is out now on Amazon. A Time for Everything. Just look up A Time for Everything, and if it doesn't come up right away, put in Ben Avery and Time for Everything Ben Avery, and then that book should be the first result. The second result will be Tropic Thunder. I don't know why.
Weren't we number 4 in Christian sci-fi for a minute?
In Christian sci-fi new release, and it was for like a minute.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was not for very long. So anyway, I enjoy putting the book together. I enjoy working with all the different writers. And the other thing is, for 2023, sci-fi wise, Ghost of the Future also came out in 2023. So that was also a big deal. My novel, which is also available on Amazon, and only in paperback though. So, but A Time for Everything is huge, 500 pages, hardcover or paperback or Kindle. And if you can't drop, $18 on the paperback, Kindle is only $5. So I would say
I had one thing big come out for me this year, which was the Chosen graphic novel #1, which is pretty cool. You can buy that at the Chosen store, and I was able to adapt the script into graphic novel format for season 1. Super fun.
And yeah, kind of out of nowhere for me. Like, you didn't say
Yeah.
anything
No,
to
I
anyone.
could not talk about it.
How many NDAs did you have to sign for that one?
I don't know. Maybe I don't even remember if I signed one. It was despite it being a big brand and despite the final product looking very, very cool, it was kind of a guerrilla warfare graphic novel production. Had to do it real quick. So
Okay.
yeah, it was very fun.
All right. Well, we are here to talk about 2023 movies, more or less. That's pretty much what we're going to talk about today. Movies and streaming. I'm going to throw in some streaming. I don't know if that's on your list or not, but it is.
Well,
things
my list is solely letterboxed. So if they're all films on here, it's not series. So, but if I think of one, I'll throw it out.
Okay.
So,
and I might have some things that you'd be like, oh, I want to see that. And you might have some things you're like, hey, Ben, you should watch. And I told you to watch this 5 times already, and I still haven't watched
let's just go ahead and put that out there, Ben. The Unicorn Warriors Eternal, which are on HBO Max, and very good show that Ben would love to death, but refuses to watch.
It's not that I refuse to, although
you make your choices, Ben.
I'm just saying, refuse has that puts a motive to it.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
There was no motive for it. So
they're only 22-minute episodes, and it's by Gendy Tartakovsky, man.
Which is a selling point for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And there was another show too that you were like, that you told me I should watch. I thought
there was an episode of Hilda on Netflix, and I watched it. And I'm like, this is a Ben Avery.
But that one you just sent me like this week.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. All right.
Yep.
So I have a little bit of grace there.
Yeah. Well, and that one's just one episode. You don't even need to watch the rest of the show. I'm just like this one episode.
I would probably watch the pilot episode.
Okay.
I don't know.
You don't have to.
Okay.
All right. Let's get into this. We only have a minimum of 2 hours, or maximum of 2 hours to do this thing. So
So
I don't think we'll take that long.
yeah, we better not take that long. 'Cause we both have lives to get back to.
Indeed.
But yeah, let's start. You've got your letterbox list. Go through. I will stop you when I want to because, and then I have my list.
Yeah, very analog.
Yeah, and that's just the things I wanted to make sure I remembered to talk about before the end of things.
Yeah, and mine's in order of what I liked the least to what I liked the most. So I don't think your thing is in order, is it? So
no, it is absolutely
something
not.
on my list correlates or sparks a connection to one thing on your list that is probably not on mine, then go ahead and interject it.
Okay.
So, okay, let's start at the bottom. I watched 28 new movies this year. So these are all movies that came out in 2023. And these are in order from the one I like the least to the one I like the most. So number 28, the bottom of the list, is Godzilla -1.
Are you serious?
It is. I am serious.
You are serious?
I hated it, man. Yep. And I think mostly it's because I had a terrible theater experience with it because of the subject matter, but also because of the state of mind I was in. For some reason, I just got super depressed watching this thing. And I was in the theater and I watched it and I left before the end because I could tell, like, okay, this is the final battle. I'm done with this. And I left.
So you don't know what happened after the final battle?
Nope.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, the good news is for our listeners, in the next week, I'll be recording about Godzilla -1 and Monarch with Nathan.
Yes. I got halfway through Monarch and I haven't got a chance to finish it yet.
And I don't think Monarch counts as a 2023. I can't remember when it started. No, it did start in 2023.
Yeah. So let's not. Yeah, I can't really talk about that because I haven't watched all of it. But the half I saw was awesome, and I really, really liked it.
Okay, and without going too far into it, I would say that Monarch, in some ways, elevates the MonsterVerse movies because of some of the background it gives, and there's a temptation. Because of time, I don't think I'm going to do this, but there's a temptation to go and just watch in chronological order the MonsterVerse and start with Skull Island. Now there is and one of the things I like about Monarch is the way it jumps in time, and so it has something happening in the past, something happening they go to a lot of different time periods, but most of it in the present day takes place after the first Godzilla movie.
And one thing I really like about it is that it ties heavily into my favorite kaiju movie of all time, which is Godzilla 2014. Like it happens like right after that movie, between that movie and was it King of Monsters is the next one?
Well, some of it happens during that movie. Like they do as they're bouncing around in time, you get some in the first episode. There's some scenes that are
in San Francisco and stuff. Yeah.
But then it does also go back into the past, the beginning of Monarch, and it's good, and it expands the universe in a good way that really just makes it just a little more fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not for everyone though, because there is a monster in every episode, but not often very long. And Godzilla is not in every episode,
but when he is, it's cool.
It is cool, and I won't say much more than that. Okay. So, but we're getting Nathan on with our next episode might not be the next episode as far as release, but I think it's gonna be the next episode as far as recording, to talk about just Godzilla and the state of Godzilla. I toyed with using the title Godzilla M&M because it's Monarch and -1.
Nice.
Yeah. I will back to -1. I really enjoyed -1 as well. I thought it was just a really, I thought it was fun. Like I did not get depressed at all.
Oh man, I thought it was so sad and I was just like,
I was pulled into the period drama. I was pulled into the historical drama. I was pulled into the kaiju drama, and
I was pulled into none of this.
Well, but I mean, when you talk about the subject matter is the aftermath of World War II in Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a rousing, uplifting period of time in human history, for sure.
Yeah. But even
But
like this one and Shin Godzilla, like I just didn't like the way even that they portrayed Godzilla. So
yeah, so okay. Well, I will. I don't know if Nathan's going to be able to hear this before we record about that, but I will definitely report to him
okay.
what you have
Please
said.
do.
So
Please do.
28 out of 28 movies. Is it 28?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
number 28 out of
That's number
28.
28. Godzilla -1.
All right, I'm writing down my analog notes so
Okay.
that I can remember here. Wow. Okay. All
I
right.
think you're gonna be surprised at my bottom three.
Well, let's continue then. What's your
Okay.
next?
Number 27, Oppenheimer.
Which I haven't seen.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which and those two movies do kind of go together.
they do indeed. And yeah, I'm kind of losing faith in Christopher Nolan. Like his last two movies have insanely disappointed me. This one, because I don't think he should be doing biopics. Like the non-linear structure isn't great with that. But then also two other major factors. One is the just gratuitous nudity that is in it. Yeah, just not, it's not necessary, or at least not, you can still have the characters be in that situation and not pan the camera so that it shows everything, right? And so, but instead it's just sitting there for 5 minutes. And then, so that's one. But then on another level that's just more fundamental to the film is that Christopher Nolan's obsession with practical effects and doing everything in the camera, I think was a detriment to this movie. So, I mean, the climax of the film, the buildup is the first, nuclear explosion, and just super disappointing. So, yeah.
Was Tenet his previous movie to this one?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. All right.
So unfortunate.
Yeah. I did just recently go back and rewatch Interstellar, and I think I liked it better even.
Oh,
And I liked it before,
I
but
love
that
Interstellar.
one
Yeah.
one holds up big time.
Oh yeah. I'm not doubting his amazing work from the past, but just lately, we need to get back to what he's good at, I think.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Next.
The Boy and the Heron.
Oh, that's unfortunate, which I
It
have not
is.
seen. I still have
Mhm.
not seen. You're going to notice a trend here. I have not seen too many movies in theaters in the last year. So a lot of the new stuff that you're going to be talking about, I may not have gotten to. There's going to be one surprise that people who know me are going to be very surprised that I haven't seen this movie yet.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, so I did not get a chance to see this one, and I've been really looking forward to it. So
I was too. And I have seen lots of theater movies this year because I got the Regal Crown membership thing where you can go see as many movies as you want for a
okay,
monthly fee. So I've been milking that. But the Boy and the Heron, was really looking forward to it. If there was ever a Studio Ghibli movie that is trying to be a sequel to Spirited Away, it is this one. And if you just play it on mute as a music video, gorgeous, like absolutely gorgeous to look at. But then you get to the plot. Is there a plot? Are there
I
character motivations? I'm not sure. So, yeah, it's a
that's
lot.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of nonsense stuck together in a particular order. So
All
maybe you'll
right.
disagree
So,
with me, but
well, and yeah, we'll see if I get around to seeing it. But yeah, I plan to, but again, didn't get to the theater. So all right.
all right. The next one. So up until number 20, starting with number 20, we're in acceptable good movie territory. And it's just how they fell.
Oh,
But,
okay.
but before number 20, I'm not going to watch these again probably anytime soon. So number 25 is Netflix's Nimona. Have you seen this?
That's the other thing that you wanted me to
Yes.
watch. And I
Because I
watched
wanted to
about
get your
half of it.
opinion on it.
I watched about half of it.
Okay.
And
And you stopped it?
I didn't stop it. I had to stop it because of like something going on where I was like, I knew I couldn't watch the whole movie, and I just never went back to it. So
it is, again, gorgeous to look at. The characters are super fun. The plot is super great. The animation is beautiful. It is the most excellent, most highly produced piece of LGBTQ propaganda I have ever seen. And that's what brings it so low on the list, unfortunately. I mean, they have a LGBTQ relationship front and center in it, but it's more the themes and the messaging and the undertones that are the issue. So yeah, I mean, the premise is great and the characters are awesome, but yeah.
All right. So next,
number 24, Disney's Wish.
have not seen.
And
this is one where I was like, meh.
Yeah,
I'm good with not seeing it.
But the film, for what it is, it's supposed to be a landmark, it's celebrating the 100 years of Disney Animation Studios. And I saw one video on YouTube saying, was this film written by ChatGTP? And it may just be. So, yeah, it was not great. And there's lots of people on YouTube who can say it better than I could. And it's very interesting that it's the majority opinion. Most people, no matter what their sensibilities are, have panned it. So, all right, you ready for this next one? I know you've seen this one, Ben.
Okay.
It's Lego Disney Princess: The Castle Quest.
Yeah, that's probably my top 5 of the year.
Okay.
or maybe I didn't see it at all.
Right. Yes.
That's probably
so.
More,
this one isn't actually. I lied earlier. This one actually isn't a bad film. It's a Lego movie, and it's very short, and it's for little kids. But it was entertaining to watch with my daughter. It's a fun little crossover. They cross over 5 Disney princesses. They got the original voice actors back, except for Snow White, of course, because I don't think she's around anymore. But it was fun. It was fun, and they put lots of comedy in there, and yeah. So I believe it's on Disney Plus. So if you've got kids, or you just like Disney princess team ups, like in Wreck-It Ralph, I'd recommend that one. Just give it a watch. It was good. All right, number 22, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah. So this one I did get to go to.
Okay.
And yeah, and when I was at the theater, someone from our church was also there, and he was wearing an officially licensed Indiana Jones leather jacket.
Wow.
It looked great.
Cool.
So, yeah.
So did you like it?
I did like the movie. I did not like the ending. The ending did not work for me. Will I watch it again? I might in 5, 6, 7 years if I ever decide I'm going to watch the Indiana Jones movies again. I would include that. I feel like it is the 4th best Indiana Jones movie.
Oh, I absolutely disagree. Bottom rung.
No, not for me.
The first one, of course, is The Last Crusade, followed, of course, by Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, followed by Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and then this one. Actually, no, probably Temple of Doom's at the bottom still.
I put Crystal Skull at the bottom.
I love that movie too much, man.
I do.
I love it. Yeah, I just found the female lead very unlikable, and she's like the focus of the film, and so if you don't like her, it's kind of a bummer.
That is a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I also did not like the ending either.
It went a step too far, and then it didn't go far enough.
Correct.
I'm like, if you're going to take that step, then own it. And if you're going to go that audacious,
Yeah.
then just go the whole way and just. But instead, they're like, we're gonna go audacious, but we're gonna pull our punches at the same time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
So.
All right. Number 21.
Number 21.
The smash hit. Animated Netflix Adam Sandler vehicle, Leo.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a cute little premise. It's got it's about a class lizard, right? Who
Okay.
like a class pet
Yeah.
who he discovers when they get a new teacher that lizards only live to be like 65. And so he's like, I'm 65, I'm gonna die. And he has like a crisis. And then he figures out the new teacher lets kids take the class pet home. And so when he goes home with people, he accidentally reveals that he can talk and ends up finding his life's purpose by counseling the kids in the class through their growing up stuff. And so I love the premise. It's very cute. The animation's good, but it stars Adam Sandler and Bill Burr, and the comedy sensibilities of Adam Sandler and Bill Burr infiltrate the nice, sweet narrative. So
interesting.
Unfortunately.
Have you seen the trailers for the new Adam Sandler sci-fi movie?
No.
Spaceman?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm very, very curious about that. And
his movies are like hit or miss, man, because some of them are great, and then some of them are just like, why did I watch
true.
that?
I'm curious. This one looks like it's supposed to be a kind of like an adult version of E.T., where a man who is on a space, I don't know if it's a space station, spaceship, alone, and he starts getting visited by this alien creature. And I can't tell from the trailer if they're going to play up like the idea, is it real, is it not? It feels like it could go in that direction, but then they're also definitely playing up the whole loneliness side of things, because he wants to get home. I don't know if how much family is back home, but there is definitely things back home for him. And it also seems like they're kind of experimenting to see like how does loneliness affect people. And so that could also bring up that whole, like, is he insane and creating this alien, or is there actually an alien intelligence in the ship with him? So, so we'll see how close I am as far as like what the actual plot is, but I think it's a Netflix Adam Sandler movie that is part of that deal that he had, where he was like developing things.
He's cranking out things on Netflix, man. Lots of stuff. So,
all right, next up,
number 20, and now we're entering. I think I enjoyed this movie, and this is just where it fell. Aquaman 2.
Okay. I haven't seen this movie.
Ben.
Are
you even Ben? Who are you?
I made the wrong choice last night when I decided to go and see ISS instead of Aquaman 2. And I really wanted to see ISS because it's a sci-fi movie without, any connection to any kind of IP. I'm not going to say much more because I want to do an episode about it.
It was a miscalculation.
It was definitely a miscalculation. Not the movie I needed for the escapism that I needed. I was expecting a taut thriller, and instead, my 7-word movie review is: the premise has so much promise. Sigh.
Nice.
Okay, so Aquaman, though, back to Aquaman.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of a movie that has not tied to anything, that's a sci-fi movie, the other week I watched Moonfall again, and man, just every time I watch it, I like it more and more. It's slowly creeping up the list of my favorite sci-fi movies.
That's fine. That's just fine. So Aquaman, I'm not sure when it's going to be on HBO Max.
Probably
I
soon.
feel like watching it in my living room. It'll be one of those Thursday mornings when I wake up. It's my day off, and there's no one else in the house except for my daughter who's doing her homeschooling stuff. I start the laundry. I make some breakfast. I watch Aquaman.
Nice.
I don't think I'm going to get out to the theater again anytime soon, and so I'm not sure how that's all going to work out. You have it at number 20, but you also have it on the list where you would rewatch it.
Yeah, everything 20 and above, it was good, and I'd watch it again.
You wouldn't feel bad if you're on the airplane and
No.
that's the in-flight movie.
Yeah.
Although we have
Snake
choices
Eyes,
there, but
yes. Aquaman, no.
fair. All right.
Yeah, I mean it was fun. I was very interested to see how they'd handle Amber Heard since she's technically canceled,
Mm-hmm.
but they had already filmed this whole thing.
Right.
So she's in it. She does some things. Not a lot of things.
And that's the end of that universe,
It is.
depending on how they handle Peacemaker.
Ugh, please.
Well, they're doing a season 2, and I just saw an article headline where James Gunn's like, the reason he wanted to do season 2 of Peacemaker is he loves it so much. It's one of his favorite things in the world. And so he's the boss. He can do it.
Okay.
And also he said it won't be confusing, which suggests to me that there's reasons why it could be confusing.
Well, hopefully at the end of the season, like the antimatter wave from the Flash's meddling just comes and erases everybody. That'd be neat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Number 19, Rebel Moon.
Okay. And we're not going to talk too much about that because you and I are going to do an episode about Rebel Moon specifically.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I'm very excited to have that conversation. But in a nutshell, briefly, you've got it up above the 20 level.
Yep, it's above the 20 level.
So you're not going to feel bad revisiting it probably when the sequel comes out.
No, I'm planning to watch the sequel.
Are you planning to rewatch this before the sequel?
No.
Okay.
I might rewatch the first third because I loved the first third. And then it just got a little too. We'll talk about it later.
Well, yeah. I was trying to think like my main thought about this. I don't know how I can talk about my main thought about this without really just spoiling most of our conversation that we're going to have. But I'll just throw it out there, and that is similar to what you had said about the music video with the Boy and the Heron or whatever that was called.
Yeah.
Is this, if you're looking for a plot that is super engaging and makes sense, and go somewhere else, watch Dune. Okay. This is not Dune. It's not Star Wars. It's not even Seven Samurai, other than it's like, hey, I'll take the outline from Seven Samurai and I'll make some scenes that fit that outline. But the scenes are gorgeous.
Yeah. Well,
it is. And if you're able to just engage it in that way, you're going to really, really enjoy it. And if you're able to engage the storyline enough, which I did, like, I feel like there is enough there to kind of enjoy myself. But he has to do something in that sequel to elevate what he did in this one. And then the other question is, how much of that was on the cutting room floor for the Snyder cut that they are doing?
Yeah.
Which was part of the original plan to begin with.
Yeah. Because he loves director's cuts.
Well, you hear him talk about it. It was Netflix. Netflix said, we want this length of a movie with a PG-13 rating. And he said, I want to make this movie that's this long with an R rating. And Netflix said, let's do both. and he's like, okay, but that means the one that's coming out is not the one that I want to come out. But then before that, he was talking about how it's not going to matter too much. The one is okay and the other one expands on that, but now he's kind of walked that back a little bit.
Well, I'd be very interested to see the director's cut, because that was one thing I was going to say is I wish they would have kept it as like the 3 samurai and not the 7 samurai, because they took too much of the movie was taken up by characters that I don't care about.
So I would say that the story itself is only about one character who gets any development.
Yep.
Everyone else, just as soon as they're brought into the fold, they move to the background, and then they do cool looking things in the background. And then the other character you care about, they're there in that first third.
And
then
yeah. So yeah, I mean, again, I really like the main character who gets developed. I really like that character, and I'd be interested to see if it gets developed more in the director's cut, and And it also, for a Seven Samurai remake, it's really only the first half of the Seven Samurai. They don't even get to the part where they go back to the village, so I guess it's in the next one.
And that's why it's 2 movies or whatever. But yeah, here's one good thing that came out of it too, though. It made me go back and rewatch Seven Samurai. Okay. And that was just wonderful.
Nice.
Just wonderful. Again, this is Seven Samurai. It's not a perfect movie. There's plot elements there that, and one thing I'll give to Rebel Moon, the main villain is actually developed compared to Seven Samurai, where the main villain is almost nameless. It's just, here's this guy who's bad and he does bad things and we need to stop him from doing bad things, which actually has a place. I do believe has a place in storytelling. But it's not as sophisticated.
Well, the villain in Rebel Moon was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
He is a scary, scary person, and they did a good job with him.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's save it for another show.
Okay. The next one, number 18, Dungeons and Dragons.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was very fun.
I think that's really the best review of it. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Lots of unique visual effects and situations. Number 17, Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes.
Did not see.
It was good. It was good. It's in that animated universe. I think they're calling it the Tomorrowverse, where it's Superman, Man of Tomorrow, and Batman: The Long Halloween Parts 1 and 2, and now just recently the Crisis on Infinite Earths movie, which was very good, but it's not in 2023, so we're not going to talk about it.
And I honestly have not ventured into this animated realm at all yet.
It's good
with any of those movies.
Mm-hmm. It's much better than the previous one, which is based on the New 52, in my opinion. But this was great because they really make you fall in love with Supergirl, and I love the Legion of Superheroes. It's just it was a good movie.
All right.
But still low on the list, number 17. The next one, number 16, is Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
It was fun.
It was fun. I especially like the ending. And yeah, it's just hard because you're watching it and you're like, this is great. None of it matters.
Here's if I was in charge, I'm not. If I was, here's what I would like to have had happen. The Shazam stuff, its own little pocket universe where they're not a part of the Justice Leagues, all that stuff. Now they wouldn't have the cameo that they brought in, but we need one more Shazam movie. Like we have Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Black Adam, and we needed Shazam versus Black Adam. And instead, Black Adam gives us, we're going to give you the big showdown if we can that you've been waiting for with Superman. No. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
I still would have liked it. It would have been cool.
Hey, we would have gone and seen it for sure. Well, maybe not for sure with me, but I would have watched it eventually. But I really just feel like we should have gotten 4 movies out of that Shazam universe that was just its own tightly, knit little pocket of storytelling. So it does matter. And instead, it's a part of the world building, and that's the problem when you have movies that are based on world building instead of storytelling, and you get like what Marvel's going through right now, where everything is just setting up something else, instead of getting to the end and saying, "Hey, we're done." Echo, they got done, and they said, "Hey, we're done," and if we never go back to Echo, it'll be okay. But then they give us the little tag scene that says, "Well." That story's done, but we're going to do more stories, more to come. But at least with that, I felt satisfied at the end, where I didn't feel like they're just setting up something else, even though they definitely were setting up something else. And that's where I wish Shazam, Black Adam, that whole little unit, and some it's Dwayne. It's Dwayne's fault. Dwayne wanted to fight Superman and defeat Superman, and he was going to get his wish, potentially if he was able to do another movie, but no, and now it's not
Yeah.
happening. So I blame Dwayne.
I blame what's his name? James Gunn.
Well,
Um
he's the other guy to blame.
All right. The next one, what is this called? It's called Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken.
I wanted to see it, but I haven't gotten to it yet.
It was good. The animation was good. The story was good. DreamWorks does a good job at picking stuff that's like, this will make a good franchise. Like, this is the world and the situation is such that, like, it's built to be marketable, kind of like Pokemon. And so, yeah, it was good. The only gripe I had was there's some woke stuff in it.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to put it in. But everything else was great.
So speaking of Pokemon, have you watched the new Pokemon series on Netflix? No. You're not going to?
Not of my own volition.
Watch at least the first few minutes of the first episode just to get a feel for the vibe. Okay. The vibe is so cool. You need to get past the first scene, because the first scene, the setup for the main character, I want you to get past that at least, but some of it's not even animated the way that the series is animated. And so you got to get past that portion to get into the actual vibe, get to the island. Okay. And just allow yourself to, because it's stop motion.
Oh yes. The Pokemon Concierge. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll check it out.
Stop motion.
Yes. You know what has
I watched it alone. My son is not into Pokemon anymore. And so I'm like, I still want to watch some of this. So I watched the first episode alone, and I really enjoyed myself because
Yuli wants to get in. She wants to get in on Pokemon.
Well, this is definitely an entry point for her potentially. I mean, yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. Well, next movie.
Number 14, The Marvels.
Okay.
Did you see that one?
I did see that one. Yes. I mean, I have a podcast about that one. So if I had a DC podcast, I probably would not have skipped on Aquaman for sure. But yeah, the Marvels, that was another, it was fun. There was some dumb stuff and some fun stuff, and some of the done stuff was fun stuff.
That's right.
So if the dumb stuff is fun stuff, it's a net positive.
Mm-hmm. I will say this movie made me like Kamala Khan a lot more in this universe.
Really?
Because I did not enjoy her show. But
I
really enjoyed her in this movie.
All right. Well, I did enjoy her show. And so coming on with this movie, it was just like, yeah, this is the next episode of her show, and it's the big crossover episode because it's her and her supporting cast. And
yeah, for real. There was loud cheering coming out of my mouth.
When was that?
The post credit.
Oh, the post credit. Okay.
Yeah. I went and saw it with some coworkers, and me and the girl next to me were like, yeah. And the person on the other side was like,
huh?
What am I missing? Okay. Ant-Man Quantumania is number 13.
I would agree with the ranking so far. As far as the Marvel stuff now, I enjoyed that one more. And I liked it because, honestly, I liked it because it was just a space opera.
Yeah.
It was just a space adventure. It's an adventure in space. And although it was inner space, not outer space, right. But the world building, some of the humor didn't land well for me because it's that we're trying to be Ragnarok. And we're going to have that really quirky character who really doesn't make sense in the place, but he's there to make you laugh. And he really made the people around me laugh. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I just enjoyed all the characters. The villain was great. The set pieces were great. Yeah. I mean, sure, Wasp does nothing in the whole movie, but
she does do something. She withholds information the entire movie. There's so much of this movie that would not have happened if she would have just said, hey, I need to tell you everything about this place right now.
No, I meant Hope Wasp.
Oh, young Wasp. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
No,
No,
I mean
no.
Janet. Janet.
Janet does a
Oh.
lot. She does a lot. Hope not so much. Okay.
What was it? There's something else about that one. Oh, Bill Murray.
Yeah.
I don't think he knew what movie he was in. I think they gave him a script. He learned the lines and just did it. And the director was just cut, wrap. He's great because he's Bill Murray.
Yeah.
We're not gonna say anything.
Just green screens all around him, you know.
And he's just, I don't know who or what I'm talking to. Oh, but hey,
Yeah.
Michael Douglas, how you doing? Remember the Oscars when we talked that one time? Yeah.
Nice. All right, number 12. Trolls, the third one.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it, Ben? Don't you remember our first episode where we talked about Trolls, the first one?
I've seen Trolls now, the first one.
This was better than the second one. My kids really wanted to go see it, so we did.
Okay.
And it was better than the second one.
You just made me think of a movie that I want to make sure was in 2023, though.
Okay. The villains in this one were good too.
It's not 2023. What? Okay, keep going. Sorry, what?
I was saying the villains in this one were good too.
Okay.
And so if you like the first Trolls, you'll like this one.
All right. So we're not going to talk about that movie that I just looked up. Okay.
Okay.
Continuing on.
The next one, number 11, is Migration from Illumination. Did you see this one?
Nope.
I've come to realize over the past few movies I've watched, I pretty much will like anything with Awkwafina in it. Okay. I don't know. She just makes me laugh, man. And she's in this, and but the movie itself is good. I don't like most of Illumination's library. I don't like the Despicable Me movies. I don't like the what the other one? The Secret Life of Pets. But this one was really good. It was really good. And very enjoyable. We all went and saw it as a whole family. It was solid.
All right.
Lots of family values, like traditional family values. Very good.
All right.
Okay.
I will let people know that that's what you think because I'm never going to see it. So
okay.
I will probably never have an opinion about this movie other than I'm not going to see it.
All right. It's good. Number 10 is The Flash.
Did we do an episode together about this?
We did.
One? Okay.
It's like the one episode we did this year.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
It's all right. But I really like that. You can go listen to our episode about it. Number 9, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 3.
Yeah, that's high up for me. That one, I don't have a list right now of 2023, but that would probably be in my top 5 of 2023.
Quite good, and just is really out there. And Star-Lord was cracking me up in this one more than the other ones, I think. And Nebula continues to become my favorite character with every scene she's in.
And there's some touching moments too.
Yeah.
Like this, it's an emotional movie. I mean, say what you will about James Gunn. One of the things that when he allows himself to be emotional, like there's some genuine emotion in
all the stuff with Rocket was super sad.
Yeah. But character based, like there was some manipulation with cute animals to make you I think to make you like them because they're cute, but at the same time I felt like it was just a moving movie, and I feel like that created honestly one of the best sci-fi trilogies that's out there now.
You kind of have to watch other movies though for the trilogy to make sense,
right? And that's where I lump it together as a trilogy, that you have to watch all 3 of those movies. Unfortunately, the trilogy also includes a holiday special, and parts of other movies that these
Well,
guys
that's what
are.
I'm saying. Like the third
Yeah.
movie does not make any sense if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame and Infinity War.
And Thor: Love and Thunder, and the Christmas holiday special. So
I do love the Christmas holiday special, though.
it's
I
a lot
love
of
it.
fun.
Yeah.
So again, but that there is a Guardians of the Galaxy through line that the only unfortunate thing as far as trying to untangle it is Infinity War and Endgame. And you can't really unravel it. But Love and Thunder, you can stop once they separate from Thor
Sure. Yeah.
and just move on with them. So, all right.
All right. Number
Next,
8, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem.
I have to see this movie,
You do.
but I have not.
Okay.
But I have to. I mean, there's actually literally there's a person telling me I have to do it. So I can't explain exactly why,
Okay.
other than I've I've got a angel on my shoulder that's like, do this right now. So apparently it's really, really good.
It was good. I especially loved that they actually got real teenagers to play these guys, and it just really comes out. Jackie Chan is amazing as Splinter, a very different, very, very different Splinter than what has been portrayed.
I heard for this movie he's still doing his own stunts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does Seth Rogen have a part in it?
I think so. I think he's one of the other mutants.
Okay.
I can't remember.
I'd just be really surprised if he didn't, because I mean, that's not his main role in this. He wrote, did he direct?
Yeah.
I know, and produced.
I believe.
But I'm just thinking, you got him. How is he not doing?
It is mostly gross out humor. Well, not mostly, but a good chunk, a good 50% is gross out humor. That said, one of the gross out humor, just we lost it in the movie theater. We were laughing so hard. So yeah. Me and Shantae went and saw this as a date because she loves the Ninja Turtles.
All right.
But she didn't like this one as much as because she likes the classic, the first movie. So
well, I really want to see. I actually have not looked into it because it's really in the last couple of weeks that someone was just like, "You have to see this movie. You have to see this movie," and so I'm gonna try and find it and watch it. But
okay,
yeah,
I think it's on Paramount. Okay, number 7, Ladybug and Cat Noir, the movie.
which I'm not surprised because your family loves this show.
Yes,
and this is the movie.
Yeah, it does a great job. It like encapsulates the first, well, like the whole show so far, the 5 seasons, and kind of boils it down into the main parts. The animation's great. It's a musical. The songs are pretty good, and the show is not a musical. This is a musical, but the ending has an alternate ending from the show. Like this, it did not happen in the show, and it's probably the biggest thing that could happen in the show, and it happens in the movie. It doesn't happen in the show. So I don't know what they're going to do, if they're doing a sequel movie, if they're doing with the rest of the show, because the show's still ongoing. So
the movie, it's still the same continuity, right?
No, it's a retelling of the continuity.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So there's the show, and then there's the
you could just watch the movie by itself, and it kind of it retells the story of the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like coming back to season 3 of Transformers, and if you didn't see the movie, you're like, "Where's Optimus Prime?"
Correct.
And everyone else that matches my toys in my living room.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, you can see it and watch it without that. So, and I highly recommend this along with Unicorn: The Warriors Eternal. Ben,
I'm more likely to watch Unicorn. I am not likely at all to watch this.
It's good. It's a good character dynamic.
I will trust you on that. I will trust you.
Number 6, The Creator.
Oh, that's pretty high. Good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I went and saw it with my dad. Really liked it.
Yeah, I I enjoyed that one enough that I watched it twice. And I'm probably going to watch it a third time. There's a lot to that movie, and I yeah, there's just a lot to it. That is one that I'm planning to have Parker J. Cole come and on the podcast to talk about, because she has some pretty strong opinions about it.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, that I really enjoyed it, and there's it's not connected to any franchise. It's an original
Yes.
sci-fi movie, and it's well, the other fun thing for me, if you're looking at Rebel Moon and this, is it comes from that whole Star Wars vibe after the sequel trilogy, where they weren't quite sure what was going to happen, and so you had Rebel Moon kind of be developed by Snyder, and he's kind of doing his own thing and ends up doing this movie, and then you have Creator, who that's the guy who directed was it Rogue One?
Oh yeah. Mhm.
And so this is definitely also coming from that kind of Star Wars, not mindset mentality necessarily, but there's definitely an influence there. This Creator could have been a Star Wars movie if you just shifted some things around. It could have been
Possibly.
with your whole the droids. Like, it could have been set like after the prequel trilogy, where droids are not accepted, and
Yeah.
but instead, because it's on Earth, it becomes an AI movie. It becomes about AI, and becomes about life, and becomes about parenthood and childhood and messiahs, and yeah. And the other thing that I really would like to kind of dive in and find out what they were trying to do was, the robots have a religion that they
Yeah. Very
follow,
interesting.
and it seems to be Buddhism. And so I'm curious what it is in Buddhist philosophy that makes it where they've chosen that for the religion of the robots who practice
Probably
religion.
because you can take your brain out like a microchip and put it in a new body.
That's might be part of it. But I
Mm.
think that there's some elements of like mindfulness and peace,
Mm.
and that, because there is an element of um some of the robots can't harm life,
Yeah.
and kind of that three laws of robotics kind of a thing, but it's not an Asimov law for them. It's something else, and it becomes a major plot point as well at the end there. So, um, yeah,
All right. So that was number 6.
okay,
Number 5, the live action remake of The Little Mermaid.
really,
Yeah.
mm.
I'm not going to say it's a better movie than Creator. I just think it was more fun, and I would sooner rewatch that than the Creator. The visual effects are great. It's the first time I think they've ever been able to actually like nail a realistic looking mermaid in a film, because everything, usually it's just
In a live action film.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the animation you can do, but yeah, they like, because mermaids, if you look at, they would have a different like spine, spinal structure than humans, and really they just put the female leads in,
In the legs,
the
yeah.
legs, yeah, the little slip-on thing. But this is great. They really used the technology well, and I like the tweaks they made to the story. And Aquafina plays Scuttle, so
There you go.
it's great stuff. Yeah, and
All
they
right.
gave Prince Eric a song. He never had a song before. Now he's getting a song.
All right.
Okay,
So where are we at now?
number 4.
Number 4.
Mhm.
So, well, just keep going, because there's a movie that I'm positive you've seen. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm positive you've seen it. But if not, because I'm trying to figure out, like, how is it this high for you?
Okay,
So let's keep going, I guess.
number 4, The Blue Beetle.
Oh, wow. That's really high.
It is high,
That's
but
not
I
how
really liked it.
that is not where I would have that.
Oh man, I really liked it. I just watched it a second time.
Yeah. Although I haven't finished it, to be fair.
Well, there you
It
go.
just, I lost my interest, and I never went back to it. So, and maybe the second half would have, yeah.
I don't know. I liked it a lot. Number 3. So the top three of the year, 2023. So number 3 is Pixar's Elemental.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
It's very good. I am a sucker for a good romantic comedy, but it's the best Pixar film in a while, in my opinion. So the story is just solid. The characters are solid. The premise is solid. The world building is solid.
And you'd say you would characterize it as a romantic comedy?
Yes, very much so.
That's cool. That's fun.
Mm-hmm. All right, number 2, the Super Mario Brothers movie.
That was fantastic.
It was fantastic. I've watched it several times. It is so good.
Definitely.
All right, and then number 1, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, or whatever it's called. Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
The third one is Across the Spider-Verse. Maybe. I don't know. No, because the first one was Into the Spider-Verse.
Into, and then across, and then above. I mean, there's definitely some prepositions.
It is. The sequel is Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
The first one is Into the Spider-Verse.
And I think the third one is just going to be Across the Spider-Verse Part 2 then.
I don't know.
I think that's what they're looking at.
Or it's Beyond the Spider-Verse.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
Or
go to the Captain America verse.
The Spider-Verse Returns.
Spider-Verse
Forever. Yeah. It's a wonderful movie. It's just plain a wonderful movie.
Just continuing to just shatter barriers of what you can expect in an animated film. Just wow. And some great moments, character-wise, plot-wise. Yeah.
All right. So that means that the movie I was waiting for you to say that I was sure you had seen.
Maybe I forgot to put it on here.
Barbie?
I did not put Barbie on here because I did not finish it.
Okay.
So I didn't put any movies that I didn't finish on here. But what I saw, I did not like. So.
Okay. All right. How about Shift?
Nope, haven't seen Shift.
That's the Angel Studios sci-fi movie.
Nope, didn't see it.
All right. It's a multiverse movie. I really enjoyed it. I feel like it did a pretty good job being a Twilight Zone-esque low budget sci-fi movie.
Cool.
And definitely it did some good storytelling, and there were some twists in there that I was not expecting at all.
Okay.
Although I really didn't know what to expect from this movie, other than Neil McDonough was in it, and I like him a lot.
Okay.
And then I knew there was going to be a little bit of a multiverse aspect to it, but I didn't know where it was going to go, and it definitely has a spiritual element to it thematically. So I recommend it, and I am planning to do an episode about it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get the person that I was hoping to get to talk about the movie with me. So.
Okay.
No One Can Save You. Sci-fi horror movie that I talked about with John Haryu earlier this year. So that's good. Guardians. Babylon 5, The Road Home. Direct to disc and then also streaming. But that one, if you are a fan of Babylon 5, yes. If you're not a fan of Babylon 5, don't start there. Because you're not going to understand it quite as much. And then from there, there's I'm getting kind of into streaming, but sci-fi streaming stuff. One
shows?
Shows. Yeah. So Silo is one that was a fantastic sci-fi mystery, post-apocalyptic dystopian kind of a thing, based on a book series, which I then went ahead and got them from my library. Did not purchase them, but wonderful in the sense that you just never know what's going to happen next. And it's very tense because it takes place in a silo that the people have been in for decades upon decades, and no one or almost no one remembers anything from before. And yeah, they're just living life, and they're realizing there is maybe some stuff out there. Maybe we could go out beyond the silo, but they do know about the radiation that was out there from it's something else, but they do know that they can't go outside because they will die.
Hmm.
And they're wondering, is there more to this?
Interesting.
So there's
Okay.
that. Let's see, Picard season 3,
Hmm. Didn't
which
see.
that's the season where they said, okay, we tried Patrick Stewart's way and tried to give everyone nothing that they wanted and nothing that they expected. And we're hoping that because they're not expecting it, they'll want it. And they were wrong. There's a lot of complaining, and so this is the season where they just said, okay, let's just bring back the gang. And
Nice.
so Worf is back, Crusher is back, and there's some new characters who would end up being a next generation,
Hmm.
potentially with Geordie's daughters and Crusher's son and some things like that. So
Okay.
yeah. And then, of course, there's Star Trek Strange New Worlds season 2, and Lower Decks also had a new season that I enjoyed that was
I
also
did watch
kind of,
Lower Decks.
yeah. And the big bad in that one was not exactly what I was expecting at first, but then toward the end they dropped the clues and I was just like, oh, they're going to go there. That's kind of cool. And the big
In Lower Decks.
in Lower Decks, yeah.
Again, when I watch that show, I'm like, this is a reference to something. I don't know what that is, but I can
Well, the
tell
big
it's supposed
bad
to be a reference.
was a big reference.
Okay.
And it actually settled a big headcanon thing that people were doing, where now if you want it to be headcanon, you have to say, well, I'm just going to ignore
Hmm.
this other thing that if you're the type of person who's doing a headcanon about this character, you're going to like to see this character, and so you're going to want to erase your headcanon because you like the character. It ruins things for some people who are doing some headcanon stuff.
Okay.
But
Did you watch Ahsoka?
oh yeah, was that this year?
Yeah, I think so.
It was okay.
I loved it because I love Star Wars Rebels, and this was just Star Wars Rebels.
It was. I don't even. They could have not called it Ahsoka. They could
Yeah.
have called it Rebels or
Yeah.
something, referencing Rebels.
Yeah.
Was Andor this year, or was that last year?
I can't remember. I think it was last year.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it then.
What about What If?
Oh yeah, What If? Echo, I already talked about, but What If season 2?
Wasn't Echo this year? That wasn't 2023, was it?
It was this year.
Yeah.
You're right. But I still mentioned it earlier.
Okay.
What If season 2? They dropped an episode a day.
Yeah, I know.
Which was an interesting way to do it, but they were short, so it was really easy to squeeze in.
Well, they did it right on our vacation when my dad was visiting, so every day we were watching it. It was great.
And the Christmas episode was just about perfect for dropping on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Disappointed that there wasn't Spider-Man in this one, because he was in one episode in the last one. So, and I'm also I was also kind of disappointed that they didn't, like, you're drawing from all these deep cuts, right, to do your plots, but nothing about the Eternals at all. Like, you could have done so much with them in any of these scenarios. So.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot they could have pulled from, and they only have so much time in a day. So
yeah.
Loki, that's the other one. Loki season 2.
Mm-hmm.
That also was a fantastic season that honestly wrapped things up well enough that they could never go back to it, and it's not a bad thing. It's well done, well wrapped up. And talking about canceling, with Amber Heard, but if they're canceling Jonathan Majors, they could cancel Kang right here. Like the way that Loki ends, it ends in such a way that the Kang problem, while they could do more stuff about it if they want, but the Kang problem is kind of taken care of. Or at least there is the premise of, we're going to be taking care of this problem.
Yeah.
And if they never go back to it, it's open-ended enough they could, but it's closed enough that they wouldn't have to. But I don't know if they're going to approach it that way. So, yeah. But I love that final episode, especially. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole series feels like you're watching a Stanley Kubrick 2001 style thing or a Wes Anderson style thing. Or then you have the whole time travel, time cops kind of a thing, which I wish had been more of that, you know,
And then you
but
have Miss Minutes doing a whole nother thing.
yeah. And so you have all these elements and they just all created a very, I think, a better cohesive whole than the previous season. So I really enjoyed it. All right. Well, I guess that's 2023.
There it is. I can't remember any other shows that were new that I watched off the top of my head.
Well, those are the ones that I wanted to make sure I did mention and talk about. So
cool. All right.
All right.
See you in a year.
I don't want to wait for Rebel Moon Part 2 for us to talk about Rebel Moon. I want us to talk about it sooner than that.
Okay.
And I want us to, yeah.
Now, if we can keep doing this time, this place, I think I can swing it. So.
Okay. All right. Well, with all that said, then, Evan, thanks for joining me, and everyone out there. Check out our book. It is a Strangers and Aliens production, sort of, because I edited it, but Steve, Evan, and I are all in it. Adam David Collins is in it. Nathan Marchand is in it. A bunch of other people that you may not have heard of are in it, but Parker J. Cole, she's also another podcaster, but who super, super prolific writer, is in there. Alan and Aaron Rainey, who've been on the podcast before. They have a Michael Poteet, who has been on the podcast once 7, 8, 9 years ago. Wow. It's been a long time. He's in here. But yeah, it's just a lot of different sci-fi styles. It's very much an anthology in the truest sense. It feels like the Twilight Zone in the way that there are just so many different kinds of stories. Like in the Twilight Zone, you get this hardcore sci-fi where it's just people on a rocket ship, and then you have a guy who's trying to get a job and a gremlin helps him, and then you have and then you have a Western, where a guy's about to go and do a gunfight against death. It's just all these different kinds of things. That's what you got here in this book. So Time for Everything. It is on Amazon, and go get it. So
and look for more from.
Yeah. Are you gonna? Did you already put in a pitch for
Not yet.
2? Okay.
No.
All right.
But there's more coming. From us,
Onward,
the people.
Onward and Upward Media is the publishing house that I have started up. It's my little company. So, and the next one, if you are interested in being involved in an anthology like this, I would say just drop us a line, send me an email, studioavery@gmail.com, and I'll send you a link to where you can find out more information about the next anthology, which might even be multiple volumes, because I am not doing a 500-page volume with 28 different authors ever again.
All right.
So that said, everyone, thank you so much for listening. Check us out at strangersandaliens.com. Check us out at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/strangersandaliens. Check us out at Facebook, facebook.com/strangersandaliens. And until next time, Godspeed.